From Connecticut's news leader, this is NBC Connecticut Today at 11.
Coming up, healing houses, the unusual job of a psychic house cleaner. We'll be right back. All right, have you ever walked into or even lived in a house that just doesn't feel right? Well, you're not alone. It seems intense emotional events of any kind can leave traces behind and then affect the people who live in or around it. So joining us to talk more about this issue is the author of Healing Houses, My Work as a Psychic House Cleaner, Sheldon Norberg. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning. Thank you.
Your job is to heal houses, and you're called a psychic house cleaner. So first tell our viewers, what is it exactly that you do?
Well, I worked as a clairvoyant facilitator, helping people look at their energetic situations and health. And I wound up looking at some houses where people had ghosts or problems and developing a sort of protocol and map for working with houses and finding that houses have held energy, and in the same way that from the clairvoyant perspective we feel that we communicate energetically, that people's dumping of emotional material in their homes lasts, and that the people who move in afterward can sense that and recognize that, whether or not there's been a death or a ghost in the house.
Now, you've run the gamut. You've worked in major office buildings, private estates, homes, as you just mentioned. So what is one of the most shocking things, I guess, that you've ever come across?
For me, there was a house I worked in that I didn't expect anything. It was just my friend's girlfriend's house, or her parents' house, that wouldn't sell. It was a beautiful house on the market for 18 months, and it couldn't sell. And I went with them to go work on it, and I wound up having these uncanny dreams in the house where I was beaten and paralyzed, and then wound up in a mental hospital and told I was insane. And you know, that seemed really strange to me. And in the morning, I got up and I talked to my friend's wife, like, well, what has really gone on in your house? They're like, well, my father was had back surgery, and they made a mistake and basically paralyzed him. And then they didn't want a malpractice suit. They never told him. They told him he was crazy. They sent him to a bunch of psychiatrists, and they drugged him until he actually found out that they had made a mistake, and then he killed himself. And
wow.
I was sleeping in the matched room. Now, this all went on in his house in another city. I was sleeping in the matched bedroom because they had built twin houses up in the ski region in Tahoe in California. So I was like, wow, so I'm getting the, through my lens, exact information of, what had occurred to him, and what I assume, other people, why other people would feel uncomfortable in this house if they were thinking about buying it, or particularly if they live there, because my clients find that in the homes they moved into where people have been murdered or died of cancer or things like that, that they feel really uncomfortable and give up the master bedroom. It becomes a storage room, the $250,000 bedroom.
But your friend didn't have to do that because you were able to heal the house.
It sold like a month later.
Okay, let's point out this point, though. You also said it was difficult getting into this field because you, as many of us, grew up in the same culture where it's tough to accept this kind of thing. So why did you decide to go into it? It
wasn't difficult to get into. There was no into.
Oh, you were just in it.
Yeah, I just found myself doing it. And, it's not something people call me for every day, but I'm hoping that the book will, bring some awareness to people, to validate people's sensation. There's really becoming more and more scientific research that is proving our energetic communications and the whole psychic perspective. And I'm kind of on the weird forefront of that, and looking to, blog about that, as well as, just work with people who have difficult situations in their homes.
How would we know if our house needs to be healed? Are there any tips or any things we should look for?
There's kind of a bunch of, standard things that people talk about when, if they have a ghost, or if there's been, if you know of a history of violence, or of bad behavior in your house. But I leave it all up to my client's own intuition. I know that everyone is sensitive to energetic situations, and you know, if you have a room in your house that you feel unpleasant in, if you have a house that you've moved into and you become depressed, you become unhappy, you start adapting to a feeling that is not pleasant, and maybe get remarked upon from other people, or you know, friends or relatives who have a similar feeling in the house, that's an indicator to me.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Sheldon's book is called Healing Houses, My Work as a Psychic House Cleaner. There we go. His book signing is tonight at 7 at Pymander Books in Norwalk. Sheldon, thank you so much.
Thank you.